In this video, we're going to find the center of mass of a uniform ring or uniform half ring of some radius r. So the radius of the ring is r, and it's a uniform ring. Let the mass of the ring be capital M. We'll see that it really doesn't matter; it cancels out. And our goal is to figure out the center of mass. Now, this is a 2D object, so it's going to have an x center of mass and a y center of mass. Now, obviously, from the symmetry of the problem, you realize that the x center of mass of the object is going to be 0. It's only going to have a y center of mass. Alright, so in order to calculate the center of mass, the first thing we'll do, because it's an extended object, is take an infinitesimal element of this object. Okay, so let us take some element of some extension, okay, that at the moment we're not sure of what to call it. Okay, we're not going to call it dx or dy. In fact, let's do this. If we were to look at this, okay, and if this was some angle d theta and the radius was r, and then the length of this piece would be r times d theta. So we have a piece of length r times d theta. Okay, and what we're going to do is we'll figure out the mass of that piece first. So once we know the mass of the piece, of the infinitesimal piece, okay, the mass will be dm, and because it's a uniform rod, the mass of the entire piece is going to be mass per unit length, and the length of this half circle is simply half the circumference, so it's pi times r, and I multiply that by the length of this little piece. So this gives us the mass of the infinitesimal piece. Okay, great. Now that I have the mass, now what we'll do, and okay, here's another thing. We're going to measure angle theta with respect to the x-axis, like so. Now once we have this, we can go ahead and figure out the x center of mass and the y center of mass. Now, although we know that the x center of mass is going to be 0, let's just do the calculation so that you understand how to apply all this correctly. To find the x center of mass, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my basic equation for x, which is going to be x center of mass equals integral of dm multiplied by x divided by integral dm. Now, I'm not going to put the units in this case, or the limits, sorry, not the units, the limits for the integral in this case. The limits will become obvious as soon as we write x in terms of theta. Okay, now let's figure out what x is in terms of theta. And let's do this. We're going to write dm first as m over pi times d theta, and I multiply that by x, and the integral of the bottom is simply the total mass m. So that just gets factored out. Alright, great. So we have all this. Let us figure out what x is in terms of theta. And the reason we need to do this is because if you look at the integral, what we have is we have d theta, which is the measure of the integral, okay, and then we have x. Now, I cannot integrate x with respect to theta, or cannot integrate theta with respect to x. What we need to do is make sure that we have one variable. In this case, it's very easy to figure out what x is. If you look at this picture here, okay, x is nothing but the projection of this radius vector on the x-axis, and this happens to be nothing but r times cosine of theta. So now life is good, and we can go ahead and substitute m over pi, and we replace d theta times r cosine of theta, and divided by the integral of m. Now you can actually calculate this m over pi, okay, times d theta, and show that this ends up being equal to m. And it's very simple, because if you look at the angle theta in the picture, the angle theta goes from 0 to pi, 0 to 180 degrees, 0 to pi, and so this ends up being nothing but theta evaluated between the limits of 0 to pi. And what you end up getting is that this ends up becoming pi, cancels out the pi, and you end up getting m. Okay, so that's what we have here. Alright, great. Now let's evaluate this integral. This is equal to m over pi times r times cosine of theta with respect to theta, and the limits are from 0 to pi, and I'm going to divide this by m. So this ends up becoming r divided by pi times, let us integrate cosine of theta, which ends up being nothing but sine theta evaluated between the two limits. And so this ends up becoming r over pi times sine of pi minus sine of 0. Now sine of pi is nothing but 0. Sine of 0 is nothing but 0. And this ends up giving us the answer 0, which is what we expected. Let us repeat this process to find the center of mass for the y coordinate. So y center of mass is equal to integral dm with this multiplied by y divided by integral dm. The numerator, okay, becomes dm, which is m over pi d theta multiplied by y. Now if you look at the picture, y, which happens to be this length here, or this length, okay, is nothing but r times sine of theta. So great, we have all our pieces now. Let's substitute it in and get the answer. So this becomes times r sine theta and integral of dm, which is nothing but m, as we showed earlier. Now the limits of integration once again are going to be from 0 to pi. Let's factor out all the terms. I have mr over pi comes out, and then there's an m in the denominator, and I have 0 to pi sine of theta times d theta. The m's cancel out, we get r over pi. The integral of sine theta ends up being negative cosine theta, and we will put our limits from 0 to pi, and this ends up giving us r over pi times, I'll take the minus sign out, I'm going to write this cosine pi minus cosine of 0, and this is negative r over pi. Cosine of pi is minus 1, cosine of 0 is minus 1, and you end up getting 2 times r over pi. So this is the center of mass for the object, the y center of mass. Alright, so that's the end of the problem.